The spaceship hummed softly as it drifted through the silent expanse of the Omega sector. Inside, a group of officials and scientists gathered around a sleek, metallic hall that was designed for ceremonies and exhibitions. The walls shimmered with a pale light that seemed to dance as if it had its own life. In the center of the hall sat a grand piano, its polished surface reflecting the soft luminescence of the room. A young woman named Lena stood near the piano, her fingers brushing lightly over the keys. She had been instructed to play a simple tune, something brief and pleasant, to mark the opening of the sector's new research station. Her heart pounded as she looked at the assembly before her. These were not ordinary people. They were experts in alien technology, military leaders, and cultural ambassadors, some of whom had traveled across multiple star systems to witness the event. Just a simple tune, one of the senior officials reminded her, his voice calm but firm. Lena nodded, swallowing the nervousness that threatened to spill over. She could feel the weight of expectation pressing down on her, but she also felt something else, the spark of possibility. Music had always been more than notes to her. It was a force that could move hearts, shift moods, and even bridge divides that words could not reach. She placed her fingers gently on the keys and began. The initial notes were light, delicate, almost cautious. They followed the familiar pattern she had been asked to play, a tune that was simple, airy, and unobtrusive. The crowd listened politely, nodding as the melody floated through the hall. It was pleasant, safe, expected. But as the last note lingered in the air, Lena felt a surge of inspiration, a fire that refused to be contained by simple instruction. Without hesitation, she shifted the rhythm, her fingers dancing faster, stronger, more purposefully. The music swelled, filling the hall with a new energy that seemed to make the lights flicker in excitement. The simple tune became a storm of sound, notes tumbling into one another with a precision and passion that no one had anticipated. Lena's hands moved as if they were guided by something beyond her, weaving patterns of harmony and dissonance that clashed and resolved with breathtaking beauty. Gasps spread through the audience. Some officials leaned forward, their eyes wide with astonishment. The scientists exchanged looks, their skepticism melting into admiration. Even the military leaders, who were more accustomed to strategy than art, found themselves caught up in the intensity of the performance. It was as if the music itself had grown into a living entity, reaching into the minds and hearts of everyone present. A low hum of energy began to ripple through the hall. Lena could feel it as well, a subtle vibration that seemed to respond to the notes she played. It was not magic, nor alien technology, but something deeply human, the kind of connection that only art could forge across the void of space. Her fingers struck the keys with increasing confidence, each chord a declaration of creativity and defiance. She had been told to play simple, but she was playing truth. And truth could not be contained. Among the audience, a young engineer named Leo leaned against the railing, his eyes fixed on Lena. He had spent years studying alien propulsion systems and neural interfaces, but nothing in his technical manuals had prepared him for this. The way her music seemed to bend the energy of the room, the way it evoked emotions that had no name, left him speechless. He realized in that moment that human potential was far greater than he had ever imagined. As the music rose to a climax, Lena allowed herself a brief smile. She had always believed that the human spirit could shine brightest in moments of challenge, that even in the vastness of space, creativity and courage could make their mark. Her fingers flew across the keys, crafting intricate passages that shimmered with intensity. The notes soared and bipped, spun and collided, forming a tapestry of sound that was at once chaotic and perfectly ordered. The crowd was entranced. Some had tears in their eyes, moved not just by skill, but by the sheer force of expression. Others felt a rush of inspiration, a sense that they were witnessing something historic, A moment when humanity's potential was laid bare in a way that technology and diplomacy could never achieve alone. The simple tune that had been requested had vanished, replaced by a fiery masterpiece that reflected the strength, resilience, and boundless imagination of its creator. When the final note rang out, the hall was silent for a heartbeat, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Then the applause began, hesitant at first, and then swelling into a roar that seemed to shake the very walls. Lena stood, her chest heaving, and looked at the audience. Faces were alight with wonder and awe, some cheering, others staring in disbelief. She had done more than play a tune. She had reminded them of what it meant to be human. The senior official, who had given her the original instructions, stepped forward, clapping with genuine admiration. "I underestimated you," he admitted, his voice carrying over the lingering echoes of the music. "That was not simple. That was extraordinary." Lena nodded, a quiet pride settling over her. She had known the power of music, but seeing it transform the expectations of others, seeing it ignite something unspoken within them, was a revelation. The hall seemed to glow with a newfound energy, a subtle acknowledgement that human creativity and courage could surpass even the most advanced technologies. After the ceremony, the crowd dispersed, but many lingered near the piano, speaking in hushed tones about what they had witnessed. Leo approached Lina cautiously, still stunned. "I've studied stars, energy fields, and alien systems," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "but nothing compares to what you just did. You reminded us of something we had almost forgotten." Lena smiled softly. "Sometimes all it takes is a spark," she said. "A single note can start a fire if you let it." In the days that followed, word of her performance spread across the sector. Reports came from distant colonies and research outposts, describing how the music had inspired engineers, diplomats, and explorers alike. Many spoke of a renewed sense of purpose, a belief that humans could rise to challenges that seemed insurmountable. It was not just admiration for talent. It was a recognition that creativity, courage, and passion were as vital to humanity as any technology or weapon. Lena continued to play, not for fame or recognition, but because she had discovered the profound connection between her music and the human spirit. Each performance became an act of communication, a reminder that even in the cold expanse of space, humanity's essence could shine brightly. She played for scientists who struggled with complex equations, for soldiers who faced impossible odds, and for leaders who needed to remember the power of imagination. On one occasion, she played in a station orbiting a volatile star, where radiation storms made life precarious. The engineers there had been working tirelessly to stabilize the station's shields, exhausted and on the brink of despair. Lena's music filled the corridors, echoing against the metal walls and vibrating through the hull. Slowly, the tension eased, smiles appeared, and the engineers found renewed focus and determination. Her performance had not changed the physical environment, but it had transformed the people within it, reigniting hope and resilience through these experiences. Lena came to understand that the human advantage lay not just in technology or strategy, but in the intangible qualities that made them unique. Compassion, creativity, and courage were forces that could not be replicated by machines or predicted by algorithms. They were the sparks that turned simple notes into masterpieces, that transformed fear into bravery, and that allowed humanity to thrive in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Time passed, and Lena's reputation grew, but she remained humble, never seeking to dominate or overshadow others. She understood that her gift was a tool, a catalyst, not a pedestal. The true marvel was the response it elicited in people, the way her music inspired them to see beyond limitations, to reach for something greater, and to believe in the boundless potential of the human spirit. Years later, Historians and scientists would look back on that first performance in the Omega sector and mark it as a turning point. It was not a technological breakthrough, nor a military victory, nor a diplomatic triumph. It was something more profound, a reminder that humanity's essence was its creativity, its courage, and its ability to move hearts and minds in ways that transcended the stars. Lena's fiery masterpiece had become a symbol, a testament to what humans could achieve when they refused to be constrained by expectation or fear. And through it all, Lena continued to play, each note a declaration that the human spirit was limitless, that even in the vast darkness of space, light could be created from sound, and that a single act of courage and artistry could resonate across worlds.